Okay, on this session of Broken Tool Garage, I'm going to look into fixing the dash lights on this 85 Ramcharger. So, I know we can't really see the lights right now because it's daylight, but when I do the left signal, it actually, if you can hear it, blinks. But it doesn't blink up here. Rock signal works. So I know that bulb needs replaced. The other thing is, whenever I turn my lights on, see how it's kind of sending power in through there, and you see my fuel gauge kicking up. So there's some stuff that has a bad ground in there. So I'm going to clean all the connections up real good and just change all the bulbs out. They're pretty cheap. And put it back together. So first off, turn the key off. My brake light is on right there. I think that grounding unit on that's bad because I checked it. It's making contact and it didn't turn off, so that might be for another. It might just need a new part. So look up in here. Well, that don't have one, which is pretty typical. If it's ever been apart, they come apart and the little anchor fasteners don't go back in. When we look up along there, we see some fasteners. There's one right up underneath the radio. Thumb's in the way on my end. So there's one there, and then there's some pull clips in here that kind of press in, that hold it in. Once that's out, just got to fish it out, fish the panel out and around, and then I'll take a picture of that once that's out. So it's Phillips head screws. I'll probably go in and repair some of that if I got the parts, or replace those screws. So if you notice, turn my light off. If you notice, I have some aftermarket gauges mounted up and in my dash here. So I just use some little cheap Sun Pros, and I mounted that up where the little well, it's usually has a little glove box holder in there or something like that. Pretty much nothing real useful in there. So I just did the little triple gauge kit, and what I took was some tempered hardboard and put just a little, you can see the little metal fastener back there, the little speed nut to hold the screw in. And then I come up and topped it off with these little acorn nuts, not anchor nuts. So it just holds the stud in there and then sandwiches in between. And I just did a little bit of satin black on the on that tempered hardboard. Anyways, not what we're looking at. What we're looking at is getting this out, which there's normally 3 screws there. These tabs either on the dash up here, or this, they usually are broke, as well as this little piece that's broke back there. There normally is broke. See, that goes in behind the HVAC controls that I don't have installed in this yet. And then let's see, there's one there, and it would come around. There's one there. Then it just kind of pulls out. Then there's the speedometer little mechanism. No, I'll probably, well, I know I can't show you that right now. I'll show you that whenever I get it out. Okay, if you see the speedometer cable, there's this little clip right here. If I can do 2 things at once. I know it's dark in there. I can't seem to get a good view. Anyways, where my index finger is, that opens and closes, and that releases it. So it looks like I'm, this one, no fancy clips on that. It's just a push-on connector. Same with a round push-on connector. And looks like I have something right there. I think that's probably the gate hatch or something. After that it comes out. And what I'm going to do is, can't see it. Well, I'll just show that whenever I get it out and on the bench. Well, there's my problem. Right there. Other than that, the board looks pretty decent. I mean, just a quick clean up, and Check all these bulbs. Actually, like I said, I'll just replace them. I got a whole pack of them. So, I know the blinker one over here works, but... so it looks like it's got some Gorilla Glue or something on there to hold it on, and, well, it didn't work, and Gorilla Glue isn't conductive, so... We'll see in a minute. Okay, so I got it out on the bench, and like what we saw before, this little ground prong, it actually says GRD. I know that's the ground, and I've messed with them long enough to kind of know that's what it was. Looks like the connector got put in, and it's bent that one over. And I've bent it up straight, but it doesn't have a good connection right there. It's probably about to fall off, but that's fine. I need to come in and repair that good so it has a good connection. So I just got all the bulbs out. These things they just twist in. It's got the little voltage regulator thing out. I have some sandpaper, actually emery cloth, and what I'm going to do is just come in and barely touch each one of these prongs just to get the corrosion off. And just kind of fold it in there and very lightly so I don't break any more of them. Clean that up. So once I do that on all these, I'm going to pull these little nuts off, the gauges, which is, we got 3/8, so those just kind of come off. Break out the gauges I'm not using anyway, like the amp meter, temp gauge, not using the temp gauge, or the oil gauge, so. Alright, I noticed something here, my light for brake. You can see in there it's starting to melt the dash because it just stays on all the time. So I might just not even put a little socket in there on that one. I know if my emergency brake's on. I don't need a light that tells me that. My solution here is over on this where that pin is out, is to come through with this solid core wire, just household wire. I think I used a 12 gauge. Looks like it'll work. And this just almost fits in there, and I want a good tight fit. So what I'm going to do is use my file set that I have right here to come in and cut this piece back a little bit and then file it so that it has little ridges on it, so I can press it into the gauge panel here and the pin. Press it in there real good. That way I can put the connector on and it'll hold it. Once the connector's on, it's going to make good contact in there. Okay, it's on the way back together. I cleaned up all my little connections. Went in and used that emery cloth to clean these up. And I'm not getting good focus again, but that's about par sometimes. Come on, focus on the thing in front of you. Alright, there we go. Somewhat focus. So here's a little pin right here on the ground, right there. What I did was I pressed, well, I had to file it down to fit, and then I pressed it into the board using some pliers, and then whenever I got through the board, I put a little nut behind there and then pressed it a little more. So it got in there fairly decent. It might pull out when the connector comes back off, but I don't know much other way to do this one. So that's what it looks like. It's cleaned up, but I'm going to take a break. Okay, so I got everything back in, and I actually forgot to take the video until I was patching all the clips together. So I'm kind of running the engine because I hadn't started it in a little while. It's cold, but I had to wait till night time so you can see it anyway. So it's in there, and I actually have lights on. You can see headlights are on, and fuel gauge doesn't spike out. Good bright light, good bright light. All those work. I think I need to take my light off here, see how this works. So those, well, the camera's just not going to pick up very well. It's brighter than that. Yeah, wrote up because old alternator. That might be another upgrade. But you can see all the dash lights work, and they're actually a lot brighter than what the what my phone is picking up there. It's just not designed to pick up the low light. That flickering is, I don't know if my belt's a little loose, alternator's a little weak, or what we got going on there. You can see when the RPMs pick up and it puts out good charge. So that's probably an alternator upgrade. I know, get the light back on. I know the, see, we can see it over here on the my voltmeter. So probably need to check the belt on that. And the other thing is this factory wiring harness stuff, like what I did on Jim, is I upgraded the wiring. Upgraded the wiring on Jim for the charge wire. So I'll probably need to come in here and beef up that wire and make it go straight to the battery instead of going to a connector that goes to the battery and you know, hook it up safely and everything. If you haven't seen that video, that's a good one, the 3G alternator upgrade to the Fox bodies. It's a 130 amp alternator instead of a 70 or 90 or whatever. So this is like a 60 amp at best, so I might figure out an upgrade to it, or at least upgrade the wires so it's not some little dinky, cheapest wire they thought they can get away with thing. But that's for another project right there. So, sorry for the ramble, but this is what it looks like all together. Like I said, I had to do it at night because you just can't see the lights, and of course it didn't turn out real well anyway. But another good project that the Lord God has allowed me the ability, has gifted me the ability to do and to make this better. And one day I'll look around, not a whole lot in this truck right now. I got all the interior out because I'm fixing stuff on it. And one day I'll get it all together, and it's going to be beautiful. Like this little dash panel's looking better. So that's what it's about, taking care of the stuff that's been given to me, with the gifts that's been given to me.